What's up guys, GK here. So we just got this bow shipped to us from a customer wanting us to tune it up. I don't know where he got it as far as bow shops goes, but right out of the box I noticed some things wrong and I wanted to show you guys kind of what we're looking for as soon as the bow's brought in so we can kind of see what's going on. Again, not sure where he got it. We're not bashing anybody. Just wanting to show you what is apparently wrong so you can look at your bow and see, hey, was mine done right from another shop or whatever. So right out of the gate, we have a Matthews V3X33 here. Got all the accessories. First thing I noticed was on the cams, top and bottom. Matthews has this awesome little thing, this little hole here. And that's gonna be what's called your timing hole. Now, getting those where the string runs right through the middle of the timing hole will get your timing pretty close. I mean, it's not gonna be perfectly spot on, but that's a good starting point. So I can tell here, this one's gonna be out of time, both top and bottom. You can see that string's not running right through the middle of that hole. Another thing could be is the specs could be off. And by spec, I mean axle to axle and brace height. So since it's a 33-inch bow, you know, axle to axle, it should measure from here to the top axle will be 33. And we're gonna run through that and make sure it's in spec. So what I'm gonna do to tune this, I'm gonna go ahead and shoot it just to see what we're getting. I haven't even timed it, haven't done anything. I just pulled it out of the box, looked at it, saw that was the first thing. Second thing, serving's coming off the peep sight, so we're gonna have to reserve that. Reserve that in. Another thing is the Hamsky Epsilon rest. There's a little bit of slack. You want that thing down flush, not already kind of sitting up. That's gonna give you the maximum vein clearance. So we're gonna tighten that up, easy fix there. Another thing, whenever they installed these strings, we'll lay this down. So when you're working on a Matthews and a bow press, you're reinstalling strings. Right here on these yokes, I call this part the tongue. You can see how this kind of looks like a tongue and the cable runs through that little loop there. Now on a brand new one that we've gotten from the factory, you can see side by side, that tongue running down. So that this yoke and cable is good. Now if we go to the top, we can see the difference here. This tongue is facing on the opposite side. It needs to be on this other side facing down, just like the one from the factory here. So a little bit of incorrect install, that's fine. We can flip that. You know, you can make the argument it doesn't really matter, but over time, shooting through paper and shooting these bows, yes, it does matter. It does have an effect on it. So those were the main things I noticed right out of the gate. He's got some string wear and cable wear here. Gonna check the sight, make sure the third axis is on, make sure everything's level. Check the D-loop level and all that, but we're gonna go ahead and go shoot it through paper one time, see what we're getting, and then make the adjustments. So now, I'm just gonna run this through paper right quick with his arrow set up. Haven't done a thing to the bow, literally unboxed it. We're gonna take a look at it and see what we get through paper. Gonna be slightly knock low. Hey, we got a tail left going on. So some things to work on here. Definitely want to get the bow back into spec and get everything lined up right and see. I'm gonna shoot one more, just make sure we're getting a consistent tear. Yep. So consistent tear at least, just a little bit knock low and knock left. We will get that fixed up. Let's run back in here and start the fixing of this bow. All right, so you'll hear me talk about make sure the bow's in spec. What I'm gonna do is check the axle to axle to see where we're at. So top axle measurement to the bottom. There you go if you wanna get that. We're short, or the axle's too long, I should say. It should be 33 to the center of that axle, and we're about 33 and almost a half, or a quarter, I mean. So 33 and a quarter inch, so that axle to axle is a little off. Brace height should be 6.5. That looks pretty close. But we need to get some twists in the strings. And these strings could have been in spec right when they're first installed. Some string manufacturers twist or they stretch. So that could have been what happened here. Also gonna have to flip that yoke. So get to work on this bow here. What I'm gonna do first is just go ahead and twist this yoke here. And that will just let us pull the yoke off and give it a twist. So now what I'm going to do first is add a couple twists to the main string to get our brace height right. Make sure everything's back on the track. Just added a couple twists to both cables. That should help with the axle to axle. Couple twists got us right there. Dead center of that axle. So we're at 33 now. All right, just by getting everything in spec, I want you to look at the bow now. The bow's now perfectly in spec. We have our cable running through our timing hole here and on the bottom there. So that just got everything kind of back to where it needed to be. We're gonna check timing now and see kind of where we're at, and that'll tell us if we need to take a twist out, put a twist in, whatever. And by timing, what I'm meaning, guys, is, so on this particular Matthews bow, it has a module here on the cam. So we're seeing where this mod hits this cable. And then we compare it to the bottom one as well to see where we're at, see if the top's ahead or vice versa. Top has made contact. The bottom is, I mean, just barely off. We can put maybe half a twist in that top just to slow it down a hair. And get that to match up. But I mean, that's really close. I could honestly put a half a twist into the top, or I could take half a twist out of the bottom to speed the bottom up a little bit. And I think that's what I'm gonna do. All right, now we'll double check. Now we flipped it just with that little bit of a half twist there. It looks like the bottom's now hitting first. I mean, that's really close. Go ahead and tighten this down while I'm thinking about it, because if not, I'll forget it. Top contact, bottom contact, exact same time. So our timing is now dead on. So just with getting the bow perfectly in spec and getting our timing dead on, let's go see what kind of tear we're getting now. See if we need to switch some top sats or anything on the tuning aspect. Now that the bow's in spec where it needs to be and the timing's where it needs to be, that'll help us get off to a good start as far as the tune process goes. Now we got the bow in spec and it's in time. Let's just see what kind of tear we're getting now. Fixed our knock low situation, but we still got a knock left. All right, that closened it up as far as knock height. We're still knock left though. So just with getting the bow in spec, we fixed the knock height. Now we just need to fix the left and right. Now you can clearly move the rest if you wanted to, but what Matthews does is pretty cool, is they give you these top hats to where you can switch them over. So what I'm gonna do is shift the cam towards the knock tear. So I need to move the cam to the left. We always get people asking, you know, oh, what do you mean by top hat? Same thing as spacers. I'll show you these guys side by side in a second and you'll understand why they're called top hats. So if you look at it right here, it looks like an old school Abraham Lincoln style top hat. So that's why we call them that. So I'm just gonna flip these in essence because our tear is knock left and we need to move the cam towards the tear. So I'm shifting the spacing. So now we switch the top hats. Let's see what kind of tear we get now. Really close there. Definitely straightened it up for sure. Let's shoot one more. So that's looking a lot better. I mean, we still have just the absolute slightest tear left, which in that case, we can just barely micro adjust our rest to the right and that'll straighten that up. So I just moved the rest over to the right, about 1 indentation on this ham ski rest. Now I'm seeing where we're at as far as from the riser, and that is 13/16, which is what Matthews recommends to run center shot. So another reason why we could be getting a harsh tear is this arrow seems really stiff for this draw length and draw weight. He's running 250s and he's pulling 70-ish pounds, 29-inch draw. So little on the stiff side, not terrible. Let's go see if moving that rest to center shot straighten this tear up. what I would call pretty darn good right there. Shoot one more just to make sure that I didn't just get absolutely lucky, but that should have fixed everything. Yep, he's money now. Having the bow in spec makes a huge difference as far as tuning processes go. Yes, you might have to switch some top hats, move the cam a little bit. We can also play with an arrow shaft. This is the arrow he sent us, so I had to tune the bow to this shaft, which required us to move the top hats. The rest is back to center shot. Timing's dead on. Only thing to fix now is retying that peep and just give the bow an overall overview inspection and send it back out. So that's how we tune the bow. It's how we run through our checklist. As soon as the bow hits our door, it's what we're looking for. If you guys need a tune job, just holler at us. We can ship it here, ship it back, whatever we need to do on used bows that you need us to tune. We're happy to do that, but that's how we run through a complete tune job, what we look for as soon as a bow comes into our shop. So if you guys got any questions, hit us up, let us know. If you got any videos, ideas, or anything else that you want to see, let us know, and we'll be here. Thanks, guys.